In this video, I'll show you how I made a point-and-click adventure in 1 week for the first Brackeys GameJam in 2025. I had a lot of fun working on my game. You convinced your pizza that pizza's wrong. Totally a great time debugging things. I love debugging. Debugging is so fun. I maybe got a bit lost in playtesting. But in the end I managed to produce a totally great and easy to understand game.
If you don't figure that out, you're basically soft-locked.
This was the wrong clip. Anyway, why not try out the game yourself after the video? Also, I added timestamps here as well as in the video description, since this video might be kind of lengthy. Day 1. Prototyping. So the jam started some hours ago and the theme is nothing can go wrong. It's not one of the themes I voted for, so I kind of have a little bit of a hard time coming up with a good idea. What I got so far is this here. Okay, it looks a bit like a mess. My first basic idea was basically a jump and run with verse controls. The player moves on its own and instead of using your keyboard, you place coins to motivate the bot to jump. Or you place bricks for the bot to dash into and so on. I wasn't too happy with that idea, but decided to give it a go nonetheless. Implementing the coin was actually quite entertaining, since I had to make the bot a bit smarter, since it had to figure out when to jump. My basic idea was to have a function describing the jump of the player, so that I could use it to calculate at which X position the bot needs to jump. This is basically done by horizontally offsetting the function to intersect with the circle. Then I can check where the function crosses the X-axis, or rather where the Y position is 0, to use the X value at that point as the jump start point. In theory it worked, in praxis it didn't, because my function was inaccurate and the jump was physics-based, but I got it somewhat done. I quickly implemented autodash for the brick and tested the game. It's interesting. I just don't feel like it fits the jam. Also, what is going on with you? Are you made in Scratch or something? Yeah, I don't like the game. Nothing can go wrong. I mean, what will go wrong? Everything. I hate this game. I don't like this at all. I think I'm gonna drop this. Okay, so I've been experimenting with this now and yeah, half a day passed. That is not that much. I'll have to waste tomorrow morning for more ideas, or I'll try to come up with some now and then hopefully I find something that works better. If not, that's okay too, then I'll just have to stick with this or just make something else. Day 2. Starting over. Almost 24 hours are already over and I still don't have an idea. I basically discarded yesterday's idea and I didn't really come up with a better one except pizza delivery spaceship. You might not wonder, how does this fit the theme? I don't know, we'll get. Let me just do some brainstorming here. Having to start over kind of ruined some of my motivation, but I still had a bunch of time and managed to come up with something definitely interesting. I didn't spend a lot of time on planning, so I didn't realize, or rather didn't care, that my idea was too big for the jam, but at least it sparked my motivation and made me go straight to prototyping. My idea was basically a 3D point and click adventure in which you need to keep a spaceship intact which has to deliver pizza. I wanted to have a timer of around 5 minutes during which you need to keep everything safe, while slowly more and more things begin to fail, keeping you busy trying to keep up with the tasks. That idea didn't quite make it through the jam, but it served as a nice foundation, or rather ceiling or roof, since I built the foundation of that game and I could expand it to my initial idea now that the jam is over. I don't really know. I started implementing a basic interaction system consisting of 4 action buttons, a simple dialogue system and some interactable objects. I tried to make my system as expandable as possible. Interactable objects consisted of an interface and scriptable objects, allowing me to easily create new ones. You can queue messages in the dialogue system, I can provide a string and a character scriptable object. In the character scriptable object I could define a sprite, a name and voice of the character, all which will help me later. If you want a more in-depth explanation of how any of this works, just let me know in the comments and I might make a video about that too. I didn't want my game to feel empty, I wanted it to feel like everything is possible. I wanted the player to experiment, to find out what happens when you combine random things together. Every combination should result in a different outcome. I wrote down quite a lot of actions and voice lines and things. I'm not sure if these are enough. Yeah, well, I basically have no idea how to chain this all together, but let's just start working on something like a system for that. Writing down all the text lines and possible item combinations already took forever, or rather 2 hours. I mean, back then I basically already knew that I wouldn't be able to complete this. But still, I thought it would be a great idea to think about different endings. I have no idea if I'll be able to implement all of this, probably not. Yeah, also I'm thinking of different endings now because you can eat the pizza, which gives you basically failure because you didn't deliver it, or you can leave the ship destroyed, which also will not give you any points. I didn't even have a game loop yet or anything really. That's fine though. The code was nothing pretty at that time, still hadn't fully switched to scriptable objects, and setting up the interaction system was a lot of manual labor. I basically had a dictionary with a string tuple containing the item ID and world object ID as a key, and it returned the value for the combination text line. I finally refactored it though. Without scriptable objects, I had to make a unique class for every world object, inheriting from the interactable class, implementing its functions, and so on. With scriptable objects, I just need one class and a lot of scriptable object instances. And scriptable objects need less storage and are way easier to set up. Maybe they're also better in some other ways, they're still somewhat new to me. One downside of scriptable objects is, since I only had one class, I couldn't add custom functions to interactable world objects the way I did before. That wasn't a big problem though, because I added a list to the scriptable object class, which takes an ability scriptable object instance. I wrote an interface for the abilities with an activate function, and like this I could easily add unique abilities to each interactable. Then I made a few different ability scriptable object classes such as replace object ability, item replace ability, activation ability. Replace object ability replaces one world object with either nothing or with something, or I can also use it to replace nothing with something. Item replace ability does basically the same but for the inventory, and activation ability activates or deactivates an already existing object. With those, I could do more or less everything I needed to do. For example, if you want to pick up a fire extinguisher, I added the replace object ability to remove the extinguishing fire extinguisher, and the item replace ability to place an extinguisher item in your inventory. If you wanted to fix a computer, I added a replace object ability to replace the broken computer with a fixed computer, and a replace item ability to remove the repair kit from your inventory. Honestly, I love this system. It's not perfect, but at this point, even if I completely failed to complete the game, I'd still have won in a way because I learned a lot and made this great system, and it's easily expandable. Day 3. Visual upgrades. Good morning everyone, day 3 just started. I will get started by filling out all these empty usages. We'll see how that goes and then I'll move on with something else. I basically continued with interaction abilities. It doesn't look like a lot, but it was actually great progress. Until I tried implementing a zoom animation for inspecting the shelves. Can you imagine how much I hate this? Spent an entire jam almost just doing this. Oh, this is the manual. But like, see, it works just fine and it is amazing and great and everything, and you go back and things don't work. I hate you, I don't want to see you again. I wasted like 2 or 3 hours on this, and I somewhat already had implemented this in another game. To be fair, it also didn't work in that game, but yeah. Quaternions, coroutines and lerping in combination just caused some issues, I guess. After settling with the simpler solution and adding a player, I finally started working on some visuals. I already had more than enough to do with programming, but I really wanted to make the visuals on my own, and it provided a nice change of work. I started with some pixel art UI for the inventory items.
Okay, so I did some pixel art. I'm not entirely happy with all of this. Pick up. Oh yes, we have a repair kit. It looks terrible.
After being done with that, I moved on to 3D models. I decided to go with voxel art since that would fit the pixel art UI. It was a lot of work, but I really enjoyed the progress. My game might have been better if I chose a simpler art style or reused some visuals, but I don't regret this choice a single bit. It definitely made me want to keep going. Maybe for another jam I could collaborate and just focus on the visuals. I'd love that too. I just enjoy making voxel art.
I guess this image sums up my last 4 hours pretty well.
I quickly implemented those objects in Unity, and now you too can finally see what was going on all the time. I also added some simple particle systems and called it a day.
Day 4. Map building. Good morning everyone, we start with more voxels. In this case I'll start with a cat.
I started the morning full of energy and implemented a very important feature. Totally didn't waste like 2.5 hours on something that has no actual use in the game.
I have a cat now.
But at least it's playtester approved.
The cats wiggling their tails is very cute.
Most of day 4 was spent on more visuals. This, for example, was already working over a day ago, but you could never really see what was going on. I added some lights, some post-processing. The game really started to look like a game. I sketched out a background and started placing down the walls. Aligning the walls was a lot of work, so I spent some hours instead writing a script which places down walls for me. The script allowed me to select a wall type from a dropdown and then press a button in which direction the wall should be placed down. All working in the inspector tab in the Unity editor. It might have taken me some hours, but I learned something very interesting and I think it actually might have saved me some time. After that, I placed a bunch more interactables in the spaceship. Sadly, it still looked really empty, but I guess it's alright for the amount of time I had. Maybe I'll fill it with a bunch of stuff somewhere in the future and add even more interactions. Next up, I started working on the UI, more pixel art. I enjoyed it. I want to get really good at it, maybe I'll practice some more. I've seen people do amazing things with pixel art. I enjoy doing pixel art a lot, maybe I even enjoyed it a little bit too much.
I'm whispering a little bit because it's 4:30 AM. I did UI now, as you can see. Day 5. Minigames. Anyway, people, it's day 5. I got a lot to do. Yeah, I have a lot to do. I might not be able to finish it. Yeah, I'd rather get going.
I quickly implemented more voxel objects, more pixel art. Well, it wasn't really quick.
Wait, is this the only voice line from the cat? You know, it's so funny when you don't even have the game loop running and spend half an hour just to make a cat.
Then I started working on a menu because even though my hope on completing my game was basically gone, I still wanted to produce at least something playable though. Making a menu actually helped me focus on gameplay and finishing the essentials since it kind of forced me into the perspective of the player. Because then I had actually a way to start the game and could think, what does the player need to see now? Then I started working on the introduction for the game.
QDialog returns the ID of the cute new dialog, which means I can use this to then check the current dialog ID, and with this I can wait until the player skipped to this dialog, and then I break down all things.
This also allows you to kind of start playing before the timer starts, because the timer only starts at the last of those messages.
Yeah, basically I won't be able to finish it no matter what I do, but I'll try.
Hope was decreasing, but I still was full of motivation and started working on the minigames. Yes, I had minigames in mind, after you repair the computer, after you refill the cooling system, and after you gain admin access to the weapon system. Implementing the weapon minigame was actually quite challenging, because I had to use 2 cameras at the same time. Since I needed the world position of the cursor, I couldn't just render the second camera as texture, so instead I rendered the first camera as texture, used a mask to leave a hole in the middle, through which you could see what the actual active camera sees.
I like this. I like this a lot actually. Okay, you know what? I like this. And I'm kind of not too hopeless to get this done tomorrow. So I'll write a list of what's absolutely necessary and start working on that. I'll invest, I don't know, maybe not, maybe an hour, maybe more, maybe less. Did I just say maybe?
To give the player a sense of direction, I gave the player a task list of all remaining tasks. I really wanted to get everything done, so I probably stayed up a bit longer than I should have, but I was determined to finish this.
Why am I still awake? Why am I doing this? I'll be fine. Good night. Day 6. Getting it done. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today will be the last time I work on the game. And yeah, now I'll just try to get more features done, try to get the game loop done, try to improve things and see how far we can go. I started day 6 full of energy, full of motivation to work on this game. And I was hopeful to somewhat finish it. Great. We have a game loop now. You can actually win the game. That is great. The game loop wasn't really what I had in mind at first. It doesn't really have anything to do with delivering pizza or keeping the spaceship safe. Basically, once the game starts, every component breaks down and you need to find all tools to repair the components and play some minigames to restore the systems. It's not what I initially planned, but it more or less gets the job done. We're doing great. Okay, maybe not great, but progress at least. We can do this. I'll start working on some UI now. On this to be exact. Because in worst case I can skip the menu basically. I then moved on to implementing the last missing visuals, winning screen visuals, menu visuals. Don't ask me why. Just don't ask, alright? I mean, it does look better, I think. Some missing 3D models. I did some playtesting and could really feel how everything slowly started to connect. Ha! I did it, I cheated. I cheated my way to the win. I even had time to work on a title screen. Working on the game was really fun, but I guess I could feel that my energy was sort of running out. I didn't even know how to write anymore. I've just been informed that this is not how you write C. How can I be so stupid? But finally, the game was playable and kind of done. I even had the menu done and decided to build it. Luckily, I decided to make a test build this early because I had a lot of weird errors when building and it took me quite some hours to fix them. I realized some DexMesh Pro shaders were messed up and getting rid of them solved it. Furthermore, I had some issues with string references behaving differently in the build version. Yeah, string references are not ideal, but it was the easiest thing to use in this case. While the build was ongoing, I took a quick break to come back refreshed and full of energy. I will set up a very basic HIO page now and then do audio. Implementing sound effects was rather simple, but it took a lot of time since I wanted every single interaction, well, most interactions at least, to have some sort of sound feedback. I like the footsteps, they sound nice. I'm not sure why it doesn't work. The collect works. This works. Yeah, we still have an issue with this. The spaceship sounds a little bit aggressive. It sounds like when I'm playing around of Monkey Time. Okay, this was actually quite a good run. Audio helped a lot improving the overall feels of the game. With that, all the necessary tasks were done, so I moved on to some more visuals. You can never have enough visuals. I was kind of staying up too late again, and well, I guess it helped my brain come up with some very interesting ideas, to say the least. I have kind of given up with game jamming, like with producing a usable game, so I'll just add random pizza mode. That's how you do it. This is literally the most useless thing to do, but I do kinda like it, not gonna lie. Wait, technically you can eat cats in my game because everything gets transformed into pizza. Yes, with the pizza mode winning screen. I finished it off by adding a tutorial, well, sort of. Okay, we need one more feature. Because on one hand, this is like actually useful information, but on the other hand, it's just random.
And I gave the player some sort of ghost animation.
This is totally what we want. Like if we set this to 0.1 with a trail. It's very stupid, alright? Yep, that's it. Bye.
And with that, I was basically done for the game jam. My initial idea was bad, my second idea was great, but maybe too big for the jam. It was too much. It was really fun working on the game, working on the jam, but my idea was just too big for this jam, even though this was by far the jam I've invested the most time in. I think what I ended up with is quite alright though, and I might continue this somewhere. I like the different text lines, I like the hidden features and the mechanics, but the game is just lacking a direction or guidance in my opinion. The results on itch.io were quite alright. My game got only 12 ratings. I'm not surprised though, because I only rated very few other games. I guess I needed just some time to recover after the game jam. Who thought spending 12 plus hours on a game development for 6 days would be this exhausting? But yeah, people did seem to enjoy it. I also asked Johnny Whitey to playtest my game. I really should have asked him during the jam to be able to actually use the feedback, but I guess I can still use it to improve my game later. Let's hear what he said about it. Also, since I didn't have any tutorial whatsoever, basically Johnny had to figure out everything without any help.
How do I use this? Click. Press any numbers. Okay, either. I'm confused.
Yeah, this could have been fixed with one more text line.
Let's go to the cat. Yo, I petted the cat.
You like the cat? That's great.
I cannot. Oh, bruh. Okay, I can go around. I didn't know. Okay.
Again, 2 lines of text would have been enough to explain it probably.
Maybe for first time, if there's no tutorial, you could like mark the buttons for the first time, so it like has a white outline or something, so you know, okay, I can collect that. That would be very useful. Because I didn't know what the collect button does, for example. Obviously it does collecting, but like this, you don't know when you should use stuff.
Actually, great idea for a tutorial. I might implement that.
Let's go! Okay, I achieved something. Okay, nice. Okay, now I don't feel as stupid anymore.
I think without instructions, the player might feel a little bit hopeless, but when something works, it makes you feel somewhat smart. I think I made this kind of okay, actually.
Like, I'm looking at this from like a meta view, and I'm thinking, okay, if I made this game, all these things I didn't get right now at the start, I would have not thought about when programming the game, because they feel so obvious to me. And that's why Paddy also asked me to play this, because it looks so obvious that like, this is a manual. It just shows all the steps you have to do. They are not ordered anything, but you can do them, and you have to do them. Like, that looks so obvious, but to me that wasn't obvious. I thought there were categories I could click onto and stuff like that. And that's why game testing is so important. And like asking game testers to play it.
As Jon explains here, this is exactly why I should have asked people to test my game and why some things didn't work as well as I thought they might.
It's nice that every item you can use on basically anything, and it looks funny. And it does something funny. Well, what if I try to spill the cat?
Also really happy that he enjoyed this part of the game.
I shouldn't spill it here, okay. Okay, let me just try breaking it open. Bruh. Okay. I didn't expect that, but it's fine. It's cool, it's cool.
Also, it took Yoni about 15 minutes to figure out that he could break open the shelves with the extinguisher. That could have been improved a lot by adding a hint in the text message like, I need a key or something to break this open, as he points out. But other people also really quickly figured out how to open the shelves, so I guess it just varies from person to person.
Yeah, shut up. I really like the interactions between the spaceship and stuff. Oh, I love this. I love these. This is very nice. I don't know if I still have to do something here, but this otherwise, if not, the text could be a bit changed, because now I think there has to be something I still need to change, but otherwise maybe I missed something. What happens if I fail? Okay, nothing. I mean, yeah, sure. Like, you could make it timer based, that like it slowly goes down, and if you don't press it fast enough, or like all three go down, and if you don't press it fast enough, obviously you're gonna lose progress. And if somebody is very bad, you could make it go down slower over time, so somebody can do it at some point.
That is actually a great idea, because initially I've even thought of making them go down, but I didn't want to make it too difficult. I haven't thought of this option, so I will definitely implement it if I'll continue this project.
Alright, so what do I think of the game? As now I just realized I can scroll.
Yeah, I should have explained the basic instructions.
Yeah, I think you told me that this has nothing to do with delivering pizza in a nutshell. Which now I understand what you meant by that, like, there's just pizza.
Yeah, that idea had to be neglected, but there is a hidden pizza mode.
It's funny. And I like the game. I love the art. It's very, like, it felt like a good indie game. Like something I would download from Steam or something and then play it for like an hour and have joy playing it. You could make it a bit clearer, or like give some hints or something with destroying these, because I searched for key for a while and didn't find anything.
Also, he said a bunch more nice things on my game, but I think mostly he was just being kind, because I think he just tried to give me some positive feedback. But yeah, it's definitely nice to hear what he said about my game, and it's also great, the feedback he gave me, so thanks Johnny for that. I think this playtesting just gave you all more insight than all my explaining could have done, and I learned a lot from it too. He really did seem to enjoy it, which is great, so thanks again for playtesting. Also, everyone go subscribe to him or follow him on Twitch. I probably have links in the description or somewhere. Also, some people managed to figure out things way faster than he did, but I think with some slight adjustment I could really balance it so everyone has more or less the same experience. Also, let me know if you want to see more actual gameplay or playtesting parts in my videos, not just this video in general. I feel like I never really explain what my game is about and how the game actually works and looks, and more just how I made it. So for example, if you also just want some, I don't know, firefight training playtesting, I could ask people to playtest it. Or I could also play it myself and show you how things work. With that, the main part of the video is actually done. I just want to quickly explain how I edited this video and why it's been so long since my last video. So if you want to skip that, just skip to the end. Editing this video took kind of way too long since I wanted to have more actual live clips, and during the game jam I mostly just kept OBS running and therefore had like 65 hours of video material. I then rewatched it, skipped through it, muted and timelapsed all the parts where I said nothing or was just talking to myself. I mean, I kept some interesting clips where I was talking to myself and removed a bunch of clips that weren't really useful or understandable. With that, I was able to compress it down to about 2.5 hours. I then wanted to reduce that to like half an hour, but then realized that's not really possible, and it's way smarter to just write a script and then add the clips from the other video files. I wrote the script alongside rewatching the 2.5 hours of material and already wrote where to implement what. I still think I left some interesting things out, but that's just how it is, I guess. You know, this for example is one of the better clips.
I think I'll take a break now. I mean, it's already 23.28. 0.28, that's not how you say it. How do you say time? 28 past 23. Or past 11 p.m. Or it's 23:28. I don't know, you can read the time. I hate pronouncing numbers in English. Why is that so hard? 12? Wait, how do you even say numbers? 48 past 12 p.m.
I mean, they really weren't all that good. If you want more insight of any part of this video, this game, or anything, just let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thanks again to JohnnyCuffYT for playtesting and everyone for watching. I wish I could say it took so long to upload because I was working on some great project for this channel, but I was mostly just busy with other stuff. I'll try to upload more frequently though. Also, if you want, you can play the game on badpaddy.itch.io/UDPizza. Feel free to leave a comment telling me how you like the game, this video, what I could improve, or just generally what's on your mind. And I hope I'll see you in the next video.